my music. There we go. A world between. All right, Oti, I know we're going to spend some time talking about The Last of Us, but before we jump into it, we don't get to talk too much about DC, the DC universe. James Gunn and someone else that I don't know the name.
Peter Safran.
Peter Safran, now the heads of DCU, DC Universe, whatever you want to call it. And
DC Studios.
Sorry, DC Studios. And on January 31st, everyone was waiting. They got their new plan. They announced the whole slate, a lot of TV shows, TV shows and movies. I'm just going to run through them real quick. We're not going to go through all of them, but just your overall sense of where the DC is heading. Superman Legacy, Superman, Woman of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Batman, The Brave and the Bold, Paradise Lost, which is for Themyscira, Booster Gold, Creature Commandos, Waller, Lantern for the Green Lanterns, Swamp Thing, The Authority, and they also mentioned that DC Elseworld, so the Batman 2, Matt Reeves' Batman is still there on their side, and the Joker is separate universe. You excited for this news? It's a little bit of direction. Some people are still worried. What does this mean? You have two Batmans. Flash might come back. Aquaman. So what's going on?
Listen, so I was overwhelmed and underwhelmed at the same time. So I'll say I was whelmed. Yeah. I love DC comics. Like, it's funny because in all of my setups in the camera, you can only see the Marvel ones, but I have like a whole section of DC like right there. It's what I really grew up with because I read a lot of DC and Spider-Man and X-Men, but a lot of DC. So I've always wanted that universe to be great. And I haven't hated the Zack Snyder verse. I always thought it was an interesting take on it. And it never really affected me like, oh, they're changing the characters. Like, no, it's cool new interpretation. Dope. So I've always wanted it to be great. And I'm very excited for James Gunn to, have his turn at attempting to do something with it. Because even liking what they've done, I don't think those characters have ever been like properly represented. Batman, of course, there's been so many iterations of him that they've actually nailed it quite a couple of times. But Superman, I don't think there's like a perfect Superman movie. Even with the
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, with Christopher, that's probably the best one. And I don't think it hits all the beats of Superman. So I'm very excited for Superman Legacy, but I'm also very excited for the rest of the things they announced because they're like non-conventional titles. Like, for example, The Authority. Like, what? They're doing an Authority movie? I was shocked when I heard that. And the reason I'm excited is like, you don't go with these titles if you just want like a quick paycheck on this and a quick return. It makes me think that if James Gunn is using these characters, it's also probably James Gunn, like hitting the beats he likes to hit, the characters he likes. But I think he has something interesting to set up. And seeing these titles and seeing what he mentioned out of all these titles, I think he has something good in mind because it's all about characters, their morals, and those morals being challenged. And that's what he mentioned with Superman, and that's kind of what's going to happen with Batman bringing in Damian Wayne. So
I was excited to hear this because I grew up also reading comics, Marvel and DC. I've always been more of a Marvel fan, but I love Superman, Batman. Who doesn't love Batman? And a lot of those stories. So like you mentioned, and I've watched all the Batman movies, everything that's come out. So I enjoyed the Zack Snyderverse, whatever people want to call it. Please give up your dreams. It's not coming back. I love the Man of Steel. Man of Steel is one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I'm really bummed that he's not coming back. And it's kind of weird when then James Gunn and Peter Safran kind of say, yeah, well, the door is still open for Flash and for Shazam and Aquaman. But Man of Steel, Henry Cavill is not coming back. He got shafted by the other group, and we're basically shafting him because we're not bringing him back. But he's such a great actor out there that he already has a bunch of stuff to fall back on. Don't feel bad for him. He'll be okay. So I'm bummed about that. But Superman Legacy seemed very interesting the way they framed it. I don't know the story of Brave and the Bold, so having an older Batman, have a kid out there, this murderer, whatever he is. It's not the
He's a
best
psycho.
Robin out there. The
He's a psycho.
psycho. Uh,
I'll just say this: I hate Damian Wayne.
yeah.
I've always hated him, so it's gonna be a challenge for me for sure.
Yeah. The thing for me, I'm not the biggest James Gunn fan.
Well,
I love the first Guardian of the Galaxy movie. I was okay with the second one. The Suicide Squad movie that he did for me was okay. I only watched it once. There's no need to watch it again. Peacemaker might be my favorite thing after Guardians, and it took me like 4 episodes to get into it. The first three, too many adolescent jokes, kind of
okay.
things that I didn't care about. Not for the 18 to 24 crowd, great. But I'm like, not for me. After that, it got a lot better for myself. So when the first thing that they announced was what, either the Authority or Creature Commandos. I can't
Creature
remember.
Commandos.
I
That's
like,
why I mentioned the whole James Gunn thing, because
and I'm like,
that's
I
clearly
was
for him.
afraid that he's just gonna pick these weird arcs and comics and go that way, and that's the first. I'm like, he's doing it, but then he dropped Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Supergirl, and all that. So I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm not the biggest James Gunn fan, like I said, so I don't know. Excited for new movies, but I'm not betting everything on them.
Two quick things I want to mention. I totally get what you're saying. James Gunn's that guy I like a lot because I like him. I think he's someone who loves these titles and really wants to do like good by them.
Sure.
But I'm not expecting him to be like directing, and I really don't hope he's not doing Superman. I'll still give him a chance, but because he's a very
he's writing Superman.
He's writing, and there's something people forgetting. He's co-CEO of this company. He has a lot of his plate, like negotiating, and people say no, Safran's taking care of the business side. No, they're both co-CEOs. They both have to be involved.
Yeah.
So I don't expect him to have the time to be like, yes, I'm gonna be on set doing Superman every day. I don't know if I'll probably have to eat my words if he comes and does it. But so on that side, I'm not that worried. And to you, I would say, like, since he loves these titles, I'm sure he's gonna pick the right people to come and do them.
Yeah, and I don't think he's gonna be directing a lot of them. I think they say already was James Mangold might be doing something.
Oh, so that would be crazy.
Yeah. But I think Superman's first one, it comes out 2025. Yeah. So if we get Star Wars movie plus this one, it's gonna be.
The Batman is coming out in 2025.
Man, when they said they're not touching the Batman, like, okay, just do whatever else you want. Just leave Matt Reeves and Batman alone. I'm happy.
For someone like me, 2 Batmans at the same time, yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be something. So again, excited for it. We'll talk more as we get more information. But Oti, episode 3 of The Last of Us. You said last week you were very excited for this. Can't wait to watch it and talk about it. I'm just giving you the floor. I don't know what else we can say that hasn't been said about this episode, but
they changed so much, Alberto. They changed so much, and now I can talk about it. So, in the game, when you get to Bill, you never see Frank.
Okay.
And Joel doesn't know Frank. Bill keeps talking about this partner he had that disappeared, and he's clearly very bummed about it. And you get to this house at one point, and there's this guy who committed suicide. And Joe's who's that guy? And Bill goes like, oh, that's Frank. And he cuts him down. And before you leave the house, if you walk around, you find a note from Frank in which he tells him that he hates Bill. He hates him. And he was trying to build a car and escape, and he got bitten and killed himself. And it's like, and you get to choose if you tell Bill or not. So it's a very different dynamic. And they really hint that they really did have a relationship. So in this episode, when they were giving us the relationship aspect to it, I was like, they're going to break our hearts. They're going to just smash it with a hammer. And they did, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
In a very different way. It was beautiful. I think it served a better purpose to the story than what we got in the game. I think it brings the themes in that part of the game better than how it happened in the game, because that part is more about who are you fighting for.
Sure.
And I think how they played it out in the episode, it hits home better.
Yeah, this is something we talked last week, that this seems like it's going to be a flashback episode, and 95% of it was. It was Joel and Ellie walking over there. It doesn't matter. Once they get there, that's important. They're just walking, trying to get to this stash that Joel has, some weapons and stuff. But it's heartbreaking. But I was, if the way it was set up, because I forget the name of the character that dies in the previous episode. What's her name?
Tess.
Tess. When she said, take her to Bill and Frank. So you know that both of them, at least for me myself, okay, both of them are gonna be there. So when we start getting the flashback and Frank falls into the hole, Bill gets him out, but he keeps stalling, right? Oh, let me take a shower. Oh, let me play the piano. I'm like, he's gonna kill him. Don't turn your back, because that's what happens in every one of these Survivor movies, right? You turn your back for 5 seconds, and the person that you're helping kills you. So I'm like, this is gonna happen, but I know she said take her to Bill and Frank, so this is not going to happen. So it was a good reversal on that kind of trope that we get. Before we get into more the actual story between them, I love that they showed why Bill is still surviving. So a lot of times, yeah, people that survive, you always, how the hell is this person surviving 10 years here? He already has his bunker. The first thing he did was got into the power company, get power to his house, buy all the supplies that he needed, get stocked up. It's like, okay, it makes sense that he's able to survive out there by himself.
He did everything I would have done. Like
I'll be dead in 2 minutes.
I always say this. If it's a standard horror movie, dead first 10 minutes. If it's a zombie movie, I'm making it all the way until the world ends or they find a cure. Because I've been preparing myself for this forever. So
oh man,
everything Bill did, I was like, that's exactly what I would have done. Raid the liquor shop, raid Home Depot, everything.
Yeah, you're taking note, checking off. Yes, right.
Yes, good job, Bill.
Go ahead.
So one thing that threw me off, and I didn't even think about it, was that Bill, when the episode starts 20 years before, is the same age he is in the game. So I never really processed, like, he's gonna be 20 years older by that point.
And I thought he beat it when those raiders come. He gets shot in the stomach. I thought he was dead because it just fades to black. He's like, oh, you'll be fine. And it comes back and it's Frank that looks all messed up. I'm like, oh, Frank, those 20 years hit you hard. But then you don't know he's sick, he's going through all this. I don't know, it's a great love story. Does a lot for representation. Everyone's out there saying it's deserved. I can't make a lot of people say this better than I can, but we usually don't get these gay queer love stories that have this type of ending. It's usually something bad happens. A lot, like you said, in that game is very different the way they separate. And a lot of people were saying that they're glad they changed it to give this relationship more time to breathe, and so they ended in their own terms. So I understand why people were very sad at the end.
It really, it's a very Last of Us story. It shows you all the light side and dark side of the relationship, but it has like a beautiful ending to it. And I love Bill's. It sounds so weird, but I love his suicide, where he's like, I'm old. As you get to choose how you go, I want to choose how I go. And I love that line, like, we've been drinking the pills, like, or you poured the pills into the wind. He's like, enough to kill a horse. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, he's not gonna then just stay by himself. He's gonna do the same thing. But when he starts crushing them, and then were the drugs already in the one?
I think he tried it, and he's like, it tastes the same.
Yeah.
I fell in love with what they did, and it's a happy story. I know we were all sad, but it's a happy story, and I think it works better with how dark the story is gonna get to give us this light story to tell us the same message, and I really appreciated that.
And I love, like you said at the beginning, the meaning of this episode. I know people didn't like it just for their weirdness, that they don't want this type of stories out there.
Bill was gay in the game. You were just paying attention to your phone and not what they were saying.
Yeah, don't give attention to that guy that posted, why are kids watching gay stories in my zombies? Why the kids?
They were like, kids are watching the show. Who's letting the kids watch a 9 p.m. HBO show? Like, who? Yeah.
Oh man, it's moms against TV again. But yeah, so all those people aside, because I also said also, I didn't see this on my feed. I saw people complaining about it, about other people saying that, again, the filler word got thrown out. But like you said, the message of this episode is save one person. You can't save everyone. You gotta save at least one. And of course, they're talking about Tess in that note, but no, it's Ellie. So that it's right there. Even if you didn't like the whole episode for whatever reason, that little 3 minutes of her reading the note, it's the meaning of the story, the meaning of this episode. Hopefully the show going forward is do what you can to save one person. And we know that Joe is very secretive about his past every time that Ellie tries to mention something, even from Tess or everything. So very interesting to see where this dynamic goes forward now. He kind of revealed a little bit more about his brother. He got recruited by the Fireflies. We're going to go find him. So yeah, very excited for him moving forward. But yeah, that message of just save one person just hit hard.
And you know what? I like this change with the whole Tommy thing because as I mentioned, the game send her to Tommy and they go to Bill to help them get the car. In here, he chooses to go to Tommy. His mission gets to a dead end with finding that Bill's dead. And now he's like thinking, okay, what can I do for this kid? Oh, Tommy. So I like that change because it's more of Joel's choice to do so.
All right, so can't wait for tomorrow's episode. Also, I watched what's coming. I can't remember. I know it's more action-packed.
It is. Episode, so it's gonna be some tense episodes. I think it's gonna be like a 2 or 3-parter. So let's see.
Ooh, nice. So very interested to, again, we say every week, very interested to see where this story is going. Show so far keeps knocking it out of the park. Can't wait to see what happens next week.
Get those hearts ready, people. It's not get. Roberto was playing the second game this week, and he tweeted out at me like, "Is it gonna get better?" It's like it's gonna get so much worse.
I'm afraid.
Yep.
All right. So thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Brennan, for being here. And again, thanks to Mike for having us on his podcast yesterday. And everyone that's going to be listening to this on Tuesday when it drops as part of the Star Wars Podcast Slate 2023. Thank you, Oti. It's there on your name. I gotta say it. Where can people find you?
You can find me over at Twitter, Instagram, and Hive at EP Star Wars, whatever it says down there, or the show notes.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be back next week with a new brand new topic. What? I have no idea, but we're getting close to Mandalorian coming out. We'll do an episode soon, just our thoughts on our speculations on it. And in a couple of weeks, we'll do our High Republic Phase 2 so far.
I gotta find conclusions.
Yeah.
I still can't find it.
Oh my goodness. I will send you mine by the time we get there will be March already. All right, those. Thank you again to everyone for joining us. Stay safe. Be safe. And may the force be with you.